We are living in the age of the podcast, which becomes clear whenever we see where the public generally goes in order to hear intriguing interviews with all of society's role models. From politicians to celebrities to convicted murderers. Don't look at me like that, I didn't invent society. And the best part is, podcasting is a game that absolutely anybody can get in on. All an aspiring podcaster needs is an interesting topic that they genuinely care about, basic storytelling skills, and a USB microphone. And hey, disgraced YouTuber Colleen Ballinger is making it work with only 1/3 of those ingredients. In her and her husband Erik Stockland's show, Relax, the podcast. Ooh, look at those stunning Shure SMB7 dynamic mics. They are really gonna sit and talk into those for an hour or so. That's gonna be so long. Wait, maybe I'm jumping to conclusions. Perhaps Erik and Colleen's podcast does have an interesting concept. I mean, just because that's not being communicated by its title, or its cover art, or its logline, or any of the branding, it doesn't mean that these two hosts can't communicate it to us themselves.
And this podcast is so fun.
Tell me what it is.
It's us sitting and talking.
And did you get a look at those microphones? They're so black and cylindrical. And hopefully that will be enough to think about so that your brain doesn't atrophy during this ill-conceived slogfest that follows one canceled YouTuber and her husband, who used to be on TV, as they struggle to travel from topic to topic, taking long, pointless detours along the way, all while bickering and pushing each other's buttons just to feel alive, like two American tourists who get lost in Rome looking for the Starbucks that sells cake pops. So relax and get ready for the podcast that makes it impossible for you to relax. Thanks to the co-hosts that are so unhappy in their marriage that they have to include all of us in it so they feel less alone. With shower thoughts that will make you say shut up, badgering that will make you feel like a babysitter, and enough awkward silences that you'll find yourself filling them with prayers for a world where there are no USB microphones. It's time to put your matrimonial armor on and proactively call a divorce lawyer. For this podcast with husband and wife co-hosts who hate each other, installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV movies, and other such content here on the web, and we break it down like you're on the air with a spouse who just expressed an idea and you can't have it. That way we can look at each individual moment of love and lust and all these negative emotions also, and determine if it's worthy of being put on the pod, or if we should maybe save that for like a behind the scenes, subscribers only email list feature item. Do you listen to podcasts? I used to when I had to drive into an office, but those days have died. So now I mostly just listen to my own shitty thoughts and when I have them, and I don't have to worry about their shitty thoughts when they have them. But not today, baby, because we are diving in. I had seen all over Reddit how basically the whole podcast, Relax with Colleen and Erik, feels like just a long example of how much their relationship is no longer working, but they're trying to make it work. I don't necessarily know if you can watch a podcast and understand definitively whether these people love each other or they don't love each other, or if they want to get divorced, or if they are happy in marriage. Like, obviously there's no way to know that for sure. All I know when I'm watching this is that this is not the kind of relationship I would want to be in. Even just from this conversation alone, it's like, no, that's not a match, sweetheart. If we're gonna have that dynamic, you need to pack it up and step it outside, because we're not talking to me that way. So before we get into the details of all of that, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. That way you never miss new videos from me. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell icon so you'll always be the first to know when I'm delivering a fresh new podcast episode to your earphones. That's my NPR voice. Do I sound like I'm on NPR? Also, I've got merch. Check out the new queer-coded collection of merch all through July. The proceeds from that collection will go to support the fair, inclusive, and accurate representation of LGBTQIA+ people in the media, thanks to GLAAD. Also, I've got a Patreon where you can access exclusive bonus episodes and virtual watch parties. Quick note, Patreon did have some sort of glitch where they thought I was a fraudster, but I'm not. They reinstated my account, but most of my paid subscribers got unsubscribed. So if you were a paid subscriber on Patreon before, it's not that I haven't been posting. You were unsubscribed from your membership, and if you want to join back up, I would love to have you. We are in there active every week, so check it out. And if you haven't joined Patreon, you will love it. We do fun stuff all the time, and there's great merch included that you can't get anywhere else, so check it out. So the confusing concept of this podcast is A, a sign that Colleen doesn't seek outside feedback for any of her ideas, because she could have used somebody with a more creative brain than she to workshop this idea. And B, it's an annoying concept that is non-committal and very low effort on the parts of the co-hosts here, and it was set up to be the worst thing that I've ever listened to. Like, they could be best friends with great chemistry, and it would still suck because of the boring concept. But then you add in the fact that they don't seem to really be able to stand each other, sitting around separate chairs there, and it makes this very unwatchable, and that's why I watched it for you. The concept relax, exclamation point, is not about me relaxing or them relaxing. It's actually about them getting very worked up about silly little things that they feel every week need to relax. Like, the car industry needs to relax. Taxes, they need to relax. Like, things that are going too hard, I guess, in life need to relax. To me, it doesn't really work, like, syntactically. Like, I don't feel like I get why you would be saying in your relationship, like, oh, that construction noise outside needs to relax. I get it, but it doesn't translate very well to being the title of a show. It. I don't care what they do. Let's watch. Right off the bat, this is like episode 144. Erik seems to be just tuning in for what they're doing in all of this, so maybe that's him coming to consciousness in his unhappy marriage and realizing, like, why am I still here? There's no money anymore. Because he's sort of like, wait, does our podcast, is it about relaxing, or is it a relaxing podcast? And they're like, not really. I'm not relaxed, are you? And he's like, I've never hated myself or anyone else more.
And it's supposed to be our time to relax, but usually we get riled up about things that are frustrating to us that we think needs to relax.
Oh, so the title is ironic.
Supposedly. It was. Did you know some people say supposedly?
A sense of irony. Supposedly? No, I don't think anybody says that.
Look at these two lovebirds. They can't stop finishing each other's sentences. Actually, it's more like terminating each other's sentences, because they just keep shooting down each other's sentences with these execution-style interruptions, and it seems like nobody can get a full thought out. They'll be like, I think that the patriarchy is total baloney. We can't talk about the patriarchy. By the way, did you don't know what the government knows? Did you think the gross annual profits for baloney are actually so weird how they spell over here? I read that in the Times. Is that supposed to be fancy? You don't know how to speak French, you dumb bitch. Okay, parallel dialogue, let's get a little less Spielbergian with it. What did Erik and Colleen even use as the elevator pitch to get this podcast off the ground? It's like being trapped inside of a restaurant booth for a tense, uncomfortable, foodless dinner with the most unhappy, insufferable couple you've ever met in your life. Okay, well, maybe not everyone on Earth needs to start a podcast then, Colleen, because the conversation you just described, I can already overhear from any of the trashy newlyweds at any single dining room table on any Carnival cruise line that makes a stop in Cabo. These two couldn't be any more of a cliche cruise ship couple. Only the cruise ship is their podcast. We have one crazy lady who came here to see if she could salvage their marriage, and her passive-aggressive husband who came here to see if he could work up the courage to throw her overboard from a balcony, and then tell everybody back home that she abandoned him to join a Mexican sex cult. This just seems like a relationship that neither of them want to be in. And I know that many parents decide to kind of stay together in a loveless marriage for the sake of their kids, even though, fuck your kids. Like, think of it, would you rather have a dad who gets divorced from your mom, becomes a bachelor, and takes you out to breakfast every 2 weeks, or a dad who stays married to and resents your mom, becomes a family annihilator, and drives the whole family into a reservoir with the car doors locked? When we think about it in those terms, it really becomes a very easy decision to make. An easy decision to make that is ridiculously hard to think about, thanks mostly to my graphic and morbid description of a murder that arguably does more harm than good for anyone who hears it. Listen, I'm not a therapist, okay? My words don't have to make you feel good. The point is, your children should not be forcing you into a marriage. Why should 7-year-old Riley have the same power over me as a North Korean dictator? Especially when Riley wasn't even born from the breath of dragons, bringing forth a golden sunlight of prosperous harvest, carrying Christmas gifts of no more hunger to all of the children. Let me know when Riley does all of that, and also threatens me and my family with a lifetime of forced labor, and I will be the concubine of whomever he wishes. Weak ass, too shy to be line leader coming in from recess Riley. Yeah, right, Kim Jong, nope. Oh, before we go any further, watching this, I'm going to say a short prayer for my own peace. As I lay me down to sleep, I pray to Borg, that demon sheep. You know, I'm actually not that good with prayers, but clearly I'm doing something right, because every time I lay myself down to sleep, I get excellent rest. Although, to be fair, I might have to give some credit to the sponsor of today's video, Helix Sleep. They make premium mattresses that are customized to fit your needs. I don't know why I said it like that. Helix has a sleep quiz that matches you based on your body type and your sleep preferences. For example, I'm a side sleeper and I hug the edge of the bed all night. So I was matched with the Helix Midnight Luxe. It has edge support and it's the perfect firmness for my side sleeping so that I don't have that shoulder neck pain that I used to wake up with every day. They asked me about it on the quiz and then they solved it with their mattress. Toast, no. Sorry, someone's a little nervous because they're painting the outside of the building. She sleeps on my bed with me every night. Do you love that mattress, baby girl? I know you do. Mwah. She loves helping me when I'm making the bed by getting in the way. I've had my Helix mattress for over 2 years now, and I've really started to form a new relationship with sleep. Like, I've never had it to where I can just lay down and fall right to sleep within 7 to 10 minutes. Helix mattresses are not only customized to fit your body, but also shipped directly to your door in this rolled up kind of box state that was so much fun and very easy to open up and get going on my bed frame. They have 20 unique mattresses, including their award-winning Luxe and Ultra Premium Elite collections, the Helix Plus, which is designed for big and tall sleepers, and now Helix Kids mattresses, which are designed for growing bodies, and even endorsed by child sleep and medical experts. Ooh, pro tip, I upgraded to the Glaciotex cooling cover. That helps keep me cool all night long, keeps me from feeling sweaty when I wake up. That's a really good thing to have in the summer. Helix Sleep is fiberglass free. Other mattress brands actually have that stuff in there, and shipping is free within the US, so you have nothing to lose because there's also a 100-night sleep trial. I know, lots of great stuff to love here. Don't be nervous. If you don't love it, you have 100 nights. Also, each mattress comes with a 10-year warranty, and they even offer financing options and flexible payment plans so that everyone can access the best sleep of their lives. I love my Helix mattress, and I think you would too. If you're looking for a new bed, check out Helix Sleep. Their 4th of July sale is happening right now, and it's the perfect time to upgrade your sleep surface with 30% off a Luxe or Elite Helix Sleep mattress, plus 2 free pillows, and then 25% off site-wide. Click the link below or go to helixsleep.com/DiRamio to find out more about this limited time offer. Thanks again, Helix. We love you. You did so good. So good. So Erik is one of those people who will say a word that sucks and that he doesn't really understand just to sound smart. Like, the genesis of all of that, like, just say at the beginning, you dumb asshole. You went to theater school. They didn't teach you that word. And that's when Colleen is like, oh, that's from the Bible. And he's like, oh, the Bible is a book? And he's like, I only knew Genesis from Sega Genesis. And she's like, I don't know what that is. It's a very pick-me conversation. They're like, I play video games. I'm so stupid I don't even know video games. What's the Bible? Like, you're feigning ignorance for the purpose of being cute. It's just like one of those casual forms of acting that people do, especially if they're actors, that they overestimate how obvious it is to all of us. We're like, we can see through you. Your inauthenticity is shining like the golden sunlight of a prosperous harvest. God, do you think there are any North Korean dictators who would have me as their concubine? I got my nails done for them. Oh. Let's move on from that without discussing it.
When people say the Genesis, they're talking about the beginning, right?
They're
because
talking
of
about
the Bible.
the video game system.
Is there a video game system called Genesis?
Get out of my house.
Well, Colleen, why are you still sitting there in your recently released from a 5150 looking ass sweatsuit? Your husband commands you to go live in the backyard and sleep on the trampoline and wake up soggy with morning dew. They play that off like it was just a joke with a shockingly forceful tone, but I kind of feel like the only part of that statement that shouldn't have been taken seriously was when Erik called it his house. I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure Colleen was earning millions of dollars until like 8 months ago, but Erik hasn't really starred on a TV show since X was still called Twitter and Meta was still called Facebook. Huh. Self-high five for millennial social media references. Ugly billionaires changing the names of things. And that's what it's like to be alive. I'm not trying to sound hateful, but something about this production feels a little bit non-union. It's a little bit less than professional standards. You've probably heard a lot of talk about certain unions, especially in entertainment, like the SAG-AFTRA union, because they were on strike. But there are actually, as you probably know, unions in many industries across most fields of work, from food service workers to electricians, like everything. And in case you're not sure why unions are such a big deal to workers, there's new data that continues to suggest that union households are significantly higher earning than non-union households. Unions are very important for helping to increase Americans' wealth, when wealth is defined as the total value of what people own minus the value of their debt. And we want wealth to go up. We want people to have less debt. We want more people in a strong middle class getting good paying jobs, and unions help ensure that your job is paying you well and treating you right. Union households possess 1.7 times the median wealth for non-union households in this country, and union members are more likely to own a home and have a retirement plan. It's also important to note that unions help to close the racial wage gap. Membership in a union can increase the median wealth in a household of color from 167% to 228%, compared to a white household where the median increase for a union member goes up 37%. Just shows how disparate the wage gap is for people of color. Union membership also closes closes the gap between working class families and college educated families. And they do this by increasing wages through the negotiation of strong contracts. A union also allows for more employment stability. People tend to work longer periods of time for an employer when they have a union. Plus, union contracts are more likely to provide enhanced benefits like pension plans, also health insurance, which creates savings for these workers and increases their wealth. So if you believe in a strong, wealthy American citizen and you want to be one of them as well, we have to fight for our right to form unions. A lot of corporations want to tell you you don't deserve a union or you can't unionize. Don't listen to them. That's corporate talk for we don't want to give you money. Everybody deserves to work hard and be paid fairly. So support union workers, and if that means less crappy non-union movies coming out on demand, wonderful. I'll take that as well. There's a lot of sympathy in the comment section and on Reddit for Erik. Seems like a lot of people feel strongly about how Colleen in this podcast is constantly nagging him and telling him that his, kind of objective opinions are wrong. And while it may be true that she sucks, she alone art not thine only suckling who nurseth at the teat of contempt. You know that my ancestors were in Massachusetts for the Salem witch trials? That's why I sound pretty convincing in Old English. Nobody from my family lineage was accused of witchcraft, although from what I understand, a few of us did perish in an initial round of practice stonings. My great-great-great ancestors helped the executioners understand the maximum amount of crushing weight that they needed to have on hand. Because of our genetically distinct skull, which is almost entirely one solid bone, if you got enough bricks to crush me, you can take care of anyone else in town, I promise you that. Gosh, I'm really good with history lessons too. I work those in so seamlessly. I make learning fun. Anyway, my point is Erik is also dismissive and rude throughout this whole thing. Colleen's not the only one being a pain in the
I used to be the Bible girl at my church. What's it called? I don't remember.
People don't come here for scientific facts.
Darwin is essentially Satan, in my mind,
really?
From my childhood.
You're terrible at metaphors.
Are these new socks and shoes?
Get off my back.
I love it.
Aw, it's good to see a couple with such traditional values. Ever since no-fault divorce was made legal in the 1960s, you really don't see as many husbands and wives who are in it for the long haul, devoting their lives to sitting in opposite chairs and just being mean to each other and having to deal with it. Again, I'm not defending Colleen here. She's coming off as pretty combative to most of what Josh brings to the table. Erik, whatever, stupid husband. But I just don't see how Erik is getting all of this sympathy when sometimes it basically feels like Colleen will be like, hey, what if we got Panera for dinner tonight? And Erik is like, hey, what if you got a terminal illness for Christmas? And then they're both like, this is so us. We should totally have a 14th baby together. So Colleen tells her thing that needs to relax, which is basically something about math. She's literally talking about multiplication tables for a long time. She's like, I feel like I do math so different from other people. I'll take two numbers when you have to add them. And then Erik is like, I do that too. She was like, and someone on TikTok does it too. So I guess we're just the three only weird people on earth. It's like, girl, everyone adds numbers differently in their head. It doesn't make you special one way or the other. You're not Rain Man over here. Anyway, she finishes up. Erik seems like he's defensive this whole time. He's like, well, when do I get to talk? I feel bad about what I'm saying now. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, girl, you got to take care of your own emotions with this. I cannot.
Ready for mine?
Yes.
Thanks for asking. Who I think needs to relax.
I did ask.
Is big beverage.
Did I not ask? I thought I asked
you
at the
did.
beginning. Oh, okay.
That's why I said thanks for asking.
Okay.
Oh, and it only seemed like you were making a passive-aggressive criticism because of your haircut and your glasses and the smarmy little weasel qualities that you have about you. Thank you for clarifying. We get it now. There's so many times where he is saying something that's pretty rude or accusing her in some way of being not a good co-host. Like in this case where he accuses her of not, he's like, thanks for asking, which you don't say that unless you're trying to clue someone in that they did not ask you. And then he walks back, he's like, no, you did ask me. That's why I said it. It's like, no, that's not why you said it. You really felt like she didn't care. I don't care, so you can say it to me. You're welcome for not asking. Especially once you hear what he's actually complaining about. It's like, what is this guy smoking? The logic doesn't track. Just to preface this, his problem is with beverage companies because their cups don't fit in cup holders. Okay. First of all, think of a second idea if that's the first thing you come up with to talk about your podcast. But then we hear his second idea and it's like, okay, maybe a third, but after that, let's stop trying. You should just go home.
Cup companies, beverage companies don't give a shit about you and your car cup holders.
Okay, you're mad at the wrong person. Mad at car companies.
No.
Yes.
Why? Because they haven't changed with the times?
Just want to only have tiny drinks. Every establishment, every beverage place should only make really teeny tiny drinks because you can have 3 sips of coffee.
I don't have a position on this. I was just
You certainly do.
Stop talking over me. Let me speak.
Sorry. You can get any cup in this. You can do that right now.
I don't even have a position on this, so I don't know how I'm so wrong.
Objection, whoever. At the outset of this trial, the defendant publicly declared themselves to be staunchly in favor of Team Cup Holder, but is now walking back on those statements after realizing what a stupid position that was to take in an already stupid debate that wouldn't exist if he hadn't stupidly brought it up. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this man is guilty of not having a single interesting thought in his head. He is like a newborn baby, or a newborn baby who was sculpted out of soft cheese, just waiting to be spread on crackers. I don't know why it was baby-shaped, for a baby shower or something. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you are all invited to my cheese baby shower. It's a shower where we bring our cheese babies in there and we just get messy. I'm not a lawyer. I don't like how he is like, all of a sudden, I don't have a position on this. I'm sorry, I'm not Team Colleen for anything, but Colleen was like, why would the cup companies make their beverages smaller when they like already make them in all different sizes? Wouldn't you want the car companies to make their cup holders bigger? Isn't that the first place my brain goes? And at first he's like, no. And then he's like, I don't even know. I don't have a position on this. It's like, yeah, you do. You just only thought about it for 2 seconds before this episode started, and now you're realizing you sound kind of dumb, which is stupid. You shouldn't care what the 12-year-olds who are watching this think. Shouldn't care what I think. I'm not going to watch it again. I don't think I'll think of you yet again after this, unless it's to make money off of your downfall. So don't worry about me. I'm good. He actually gets like, I don't know if he's being serious or not, but like a little embarrassed when Colleen calls him out. He's like, now I'm all self-conscious and nervous. And it's like, okay, stop playing the victim. Just come up with a good idea. Then you won't feel self-conscious about it. How about that, Sisyphus? So he's like, he brings his second idea to the table and it's like, sis, you gotta go home.
We accept that a grocery store can give us sushi because it's a grocery store with it, because they've already established, hey, we sell produce. Like every grocery store now, like even like a Ralph's is like, we also have a sushi bar. And we just all, like as a society, accepted the fact that like, yes, you can just eat raw fish here also. Okay. But now we all just accept, yes, and it's in grocery stores, and like somebody made it at some point that it can be consumed raw.
Fish, like a sushi grade fish at most grocery stores, can't you?
I don't think that's true.
Well, maybe then I would say if you can't purchase sushi grade fish at said grocery store, you should not be eating the sushi there probably.
Right.
Okay.
I just think you should have to go. I don't know. I just don't. I guess I don't know why I thought it was funny.
I'm frankly mystified that you thought you had the capacity to convey an amusing thought in any context. Like, has a certifiably comedic person ever diagnosed you as being funny? Or did you just get married to a person playing a character on the internet that kids laughed at because of her high-waisted sweatpants and Bozo the Clown lipstick? And that led you to believe that comedy was just for anybody who wasn't really getting work as an actor, but also didn't want to work at the Foot Locker? And that's no shade to Foot Locker employees, okay? I'm sure any of you could start a podcast and tell me an anecdote about your most average day of work, and it would still be more insightful and funny than whatever that just was. I don't understand this man. Imagine your whole job for the week is to half-bake 1 to 2 ideas, conversation starters to have with your wife, for the entertainment of an audience of people who will seemingly enjoy any piece of content that squirms out of your ass, no matter what happens. Because whoever's watching this now, they're clearly the ride or die. And this is what you came up with? A whole week? This is what you came up with? Okay. This Seinfeldian bit about how grocery stores shouldn't sell sushi, even though sushi is made out of groceries. Those grocery stores have real sushi chefs come in once a day, and you see on the label, they throw it out the next day. He didn't even have a unique enough perspective to state this observation as well as Jerry Seinfeld. And that perspective is only as unique as a cishet wealthy white guy with a nasty attitude. Honestly, I feel like that should be pretty accessible to Erik at this point. It's a shame he couldn't pull it off. That's me to him. So then he's all self-conscious. He's like, I don't know why I said that. It's a stupid idea. It is a stupid idea. You should read it out loud maybe before recording, and you come to that conclusion yet again with the next thing you say. Maybe go back to some old episodes, see if you still feel that way about your old things that you said. I'm willing to bet this isn't the first time you said something stupid and dumb on this podcast, but I don't have enough brain cells left in me to go back and look. So you're gonna have to let me know in the comments below. Let's see this one last clip where they close us out. They're reading comments from fans, those fans who are apparently in it to win it with this duo, and they're like, we love how structureless and boring this podcast is. It's like watching 2 people I don't like talk to each other. It's like, yep, that's what it is.
Said I love it when you're just talking and you forget that it's a podcast. Those times are the best. I mean, is it? We were talking about that last episode. Like, is this a conversation?
That's the thing.
Let alone a podcast?
I feel like the moments I remember that we're podcasting, I panic. I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
this has got to be boring and not interesting.
I don't know that it's got to be that way, but I understand that's probably the best you're capable of producing at this level of effort. If you wanted to record something that isn't boring and not interesting, it's gonna require some actual change, like maybe taking a writing course, or being open to outside feedback, or falling off a boat and sustaining a head injury that causes your entire previous personality to get erased. Or maybe the accident brings you so close to death that you get scared of your own mortality and learn to take accountability and start to show real work towards bettering yourself and improving the world around you. So, final thoughts. If your podcast sucks, divorce your husband, learn to write poetry, and go fall off a boat and drown a little bit. But remember to come back with a funny British accent if you survive. I don't care how ordered or disordered those doctors said my personality is. You can't tell me that I don't give solid mental health advice. Because anyone who does try to tell me that will find themselves falling off the boat themselves. Splash, splash, splash. Sooner or later, all the little children go for the first swimming lesson with me. All the little lads and lasses love the first boat ride with Mr. Charles B. Drowningberg McBurn the bodies. Michael, row the boat ashore. Can you swim yet? Oh, I'm sorry. I think I got low blood sugar again and fell asleep for a second there. Was there a British guy singing in here? Anyway, Colleen was weird to kids online, so f you, Colleen, and f you, Miranda Sings. Why don't you go record some podcast about it and let your husband talk down to you? That's on, period. Why is that song in my head? Anyway, that's all we have today for this episode of Clip Breakdown. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you check out my queer-coded merch collection to support GLAAD in its representation of LGBTQIA+ people in the media. Also, I've got a Patreon. Make sure you resubscribe if you've been unsubscribed. Check it out. Do me a favor, get back in there. We're gonna have so much more fun for the rest of the year. All summer long, sister. But also make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see me cover even more Colleen Ballinger content. I will disassociate for long enough to do it. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I am constantly doing my best to upload constantly. So make sure you hit that notification bell icon and you'll be the first to know when I've got a boat ride for you children. Ding ding, ride the ferry to hell. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you so much for fitting inside the world's smallest cup holder with me today. I will see you next time.